is going on? It is fucking midnight. No, it's after midnight. It's 12:20. But I'm wired. Um, Part of it is probably the caffeine. I'm guessing that probably had a big part to do with it. Had a yerba mate on the way to train. But I needed the energy because today I've been doing a little bit of a cleanse. Um, nothing too hardcore like I did a couple weeks ago, which was good. I don't think I ever talked about that. Maybe we'll talk about that another day. Interesting stuff, but not for tonight. I totally forgot what tonight was supposed to be about, though. Part of it is that I need to record a podcast because I didn't record all of last week. I was busy enjoying life, I guess. And yeah, didn't have any guests to come on. Things just didn't work out. I was busy. I was doing a lot of stuff with the family. And that was one of the things. I made a decision on Friday. Friday I could have written all day if I wanted to. My mother-in-law had already offered to take my son and to like free me up of those duties. But earlier in the day, I think I had a revelation during yoga. I was like, man, we're not promised tomorrow. We like I always talk about being a good dad and wanting to do all these things, and I was like, well, my son would probably enjoy it if I picked him up from school and we did something. So I think we went to the movies or something. Then we went to play it afterwards. But it was fun. That was another reason why I didn't do a podcast. But when I have something I feel like might be worth saying, then we'll do one. Or if I have a special guest. Tonight it's just me and the scary fucker behind me. The poster from Twisted Reunion. I'm sitting at my wife's desk. I'm waiting for it to make me smart. Looking at pictures of my family. Yeah. I'm starting to like this location. I don't know how good the sound is. I'm fucking doing laundry. When your whole family does jiu-jitsu, it makes for a lot of rash guards and spats. And so I'm constantly doing that. And today I trained twice. Olivia trained. Usually she goes off Mondays, but she's switching up her schedule. Get some different training partners. And then and my wife too. So she trained tonight as well. She was training at the youth center, and then I trained earlier this morning. I went to 10th Planet Long Beach. Trained with Jeremiah Vance. First time checking out that place. It was awesome, man. He's a brown belt. He'll be doing a seminar this Saturday, rubber guard seminar, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, donation only at 10th Planet Youth Center in Whittier. So I'll be going to that with my wife and daughter. And yeah, we're going to pick up some cool stuff. Because just in today's class, it was a small class, but in the hour that he was showing stuff, I picked up so many little things that are going to help my game so much. It's always amazing. Like I could get stuck on how little I know, and I'm like, oh shit, I should know this. And then I was like, no, it's like that's cool. It's like I'm happy. I was like, I just added that to it, and so maybe I'm a slow learner or whatever else. But no, man, I'm enjoying it. And then yeah, tonight my wife went to the youth center. I was going to, but then I wanted to see Zach and John before I left from 10th Planet Bethlehem. They're headed back tomorrow. So yeah, I got to see them and got some really cool roles. But yeah, man, life. I was just thinking, like, I don't like to say, I don't know. Probably part of it is I don't want to jinx it. But I was like, I'm super happy with my life. And I was telling, I think a big part of it too is, I was like, I don't give a fuck about much. I do care about a lot of things, but I realize the importance. So I was like, as long as I'm healthy, my wife's healthy, my kids are healthy, and like I want all my family to be healthy. But I was like, if I have that, then who gives a shit about anything else? Like everything else will work itself out. I think we get caught up on a lot of stuff, and no, I'm so much happier since I've made that change. But I was thinking, okay, when did that change happen? Because I was such an angry fuck my whole life. And so I could kind of point to when I started doing Unlocking the Cage, because it forced me out of my comfort zone. I was an introvert, a stay-at-home dad. I didn't want to leave the house. I definitely didn't feel like I was qualified to interview people. I'd never done that before, and I wasn't a very good fighter. So why should I do this? And but it forced me to get out of the comfort zone, to approach people, to start talking to people, to realize I was enjoying meeting these people. I'm making friends. I'm getting to see all these awesome martial artists. I'm when I'm doing the interviews, I'm seeing who's happy and who's not, and how are they acting, and what kind of people am I drawn to. Um, and I've just learned so much. And then I think through all the training and crushing the ego and just surrounding yourself with positive people, man, I'm couldn't be happier. I'm really glad. And there's been a lot of things that have helped me along the way. Yoga's been a big part of it. Um, but last night was just such a cool night. So we went to ABI, and then Anthony and Janine were there. I was like, I met them through unlocking. And then Ben Saunders, he was sitting right next to me. We were able to talk about MMA. We were talking about, I mentioned that I'm writing The Try Not to Die with Steve Montgomery, his buddy, who's also American Top Team. So he thought that was cool. I also mentioned, and he knows Tim Lasik who's in Unlocking the Cage, a fighter that I lost to, and I mentioned him in the first chapter of Unlocking. But Tim's also writing a book with me, and so yeah, Ben thought that was cool as hell, and so I'm gonna talk to Ben. Maybe I don't know if he'll do it or not, but maybe he'll write a book too. And then we're watching John fight, and Richie Boogeyman, who I also interviewed, and so it was just cool. How many good people and people that I enjoy being around were there, and that I met because of Unlocking, and it was Eddie Bravo's event. I was like, so I was just surrounded by all kinds of great people. But enough about that. I don't know what else is fucking going on. It's late. I didn't eat much. Working on very few calories. Wired. I got choked out several times. Almost lost consciousness, maybe twice. It was cool. It started to go. The black belt was awesome. I forget his name. Great guy. I told him how much I enjoyed watching him compete yesterday. I think he made it to the semifinals. Sorry, I don't remember your name. I should look it up. But his leg game, just amazing. And his overall game. But he was doing so much lighter than me and just doing whatever he wanted. But it was awesome. It was a great opportunity to roll with him. And I also rolled with his two other friends from, I think they're all from Australia. Man, cannot fucking keep my thoughts. Don't know why that is. Oh, yeah, maybe it is from getting choked out several times. But yeah, anyhow, he was one of the ones that did it. And, just trying to hold off as long as possible on the chokes, and the hearing starts to go and the sight goes. But I was good. Didn't go all the way out. Oh, a word of warning. This morning, I didn't tap to a white belt, and I probably should have. And I almost jacked up my neck. And I was like, man, what a stupid fuck I am. When I came home, I made sure to tell my daughter, like, don't ever do what Daddy just did. And I was like, I was in a dangerous situation. I didn't tap because of my ego. That's happened a couple times. One time where I thought my ankles were about to break. I had a body triangle on someone, and then they were arching. They trapped them, and then trapped my feet with their legs, and they were arching really hard, and I thought my legs might break, and I didn't tap. I was like, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I was like, tap, why wouldn't you tap? This, like, it's just an ego thing. I was like, and that happened again this morning, so I haven't learned. It doesn't happen that often though, so maybe if it happens less and less. But I really shouldn't be doing it in dangerous situations. I am good at being a little bitch about my ankles, though. Someone grabs my ankles, I tap. I'm working on my defense a little bit. I need to pick up my leg game. It's kind of garbage. But for all of you that don't practice jiu-jitsu, you're probably like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Yeah, I don't blame you. I do have something cool that's coming up. T. Quone, he is narrating 3 fiction short stories, and he just sent me the Unlocking the Cage prologue. So we will be sharing that next week. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. So yeah, I'm excited about that, man. I think we're going to go ahead and start recording all of the Unlocking the Cage. I'd like to put it out consecutively, so maybe we'll hold off on the prologue. I have to see when we're going to be done with it. But I'm pumped. Everything's coming through pretty cool. What I've heard so far sounds good. Yeah, A lot of positive shit. For tonight, since you guys just had to listen to me ramble, I should probably play a pretty good story. I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago about death or whatever. And just seeing it as a man, it's just part of it. It's like I'm gonna have to go through it. Might as well, whatever, embrace it. But my friend Don, his wife finally passed, and he was the guy. I think they were married 63 or 64 years. But I had him read. Excuse me. I had him read one of these short stories. He was the first person that ever read it. I sent it to him. I felt bad when I sent it to him because I realized his situation was so similar to the one I wrote about in the short story. But he said he read it and he was crying when he read it, and that I had to publish it and not to change a thing, not even the ending, which I was really unsure of. So Tequone re-narrated it for Twisted Reunion, but let's go with Don's version. So this goes out to his wife Dorothy. All right, hope you guys have a great night. Appreciate your loved ones. Let them know. Never know.
Every Precious Second, a short story by Mark Tullius. The numbers on this stupid cell phone are so small that my finger punches the 9 every time I shoot for the 8. My granddaughter tells me I should upgrade to one of those new smart gadgets, but it already takes me 10 minutes to dial when there are actual buttons. This old hound dog's not learning any new tricks, especially on one of those virtual screens. Leave it alone, William. If it comes, it comes, Rose whispers. She pauses for a second to gather her breath. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It hurts her to talk. I turn up the volume on my hearing aid and ask if she wants some water. I want you to put down that phone. I made plans. Plus, Billy already paid for the shipping. It's not right if the package doesn't come. We shouldn't have involved her. This whole thing's wrong, and I feel torn up. I hold up the cell and squint over my glasses. I'll just be a minute. It's too early there. She's still in bed. I glance at the clock. It seems to run faster with every passing day. She's up, I say. Concentrate on pressing the 8. It's already noon. On the 4th ring, Billy answers with a yawn. Hi, Grandpa. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, sweetheart. You sure? Of course. The Afghan is slipping down Rose's thighs. I pulled it up to her waist. She's so frail you can hardly see her legs under the blanket. I asked our granddaughter, You weren't sleeping, were you? No. I wanted to catch you before your classes began. I need to be getting up anyway. My biochem final is 11. I was up pretty late last night studying for it. I completely forgot about the time difference. You're so far away. I don't even have to look to know Rose is rolling her eyes. I never remember the time difference. I wish I wasn't so far away, Grandpa. I'd leave today to see you guys, but Mom and Dad won't let me miss my exams. I told your father I'd tan his hide if he did. I'm still flying out next Thursday, right after my last test. For everyone, I say. You needn't to worry, Billy. You just focus on your test. We both know how much you love your grandma. But I want to see her. I want to say goodbye. Can I talk to her? Billy says, her voice quivering. Of course you can. I turn to Rose, her blue eyes shiny with tears. But I just had a quick question about the package. Didn't it arrive? Not yet. Do you think maybe they have the wrong address? I just wanted to make sure it's coming. Hold on. She reads off the correct address. I have the tracking number. I'll call them right now. Thank you, dear. I'd do it myself, but with all that button pushing, I'll end up getting instructions in Spanish or talking to some guy in India. Remember what I said, Grandpa. Only take one every 4 hours. That's plenty. Of course. I craned my neck to see out the kitchen window. No UPS truck, just a snow-covered street. Thank you again for this, Billy. It's the least I can do. Let me put on your grandma. I love you. I love you too, dear. I shuffle around the table and hold the phone to Rose's ear. She jerks back like she's being attacked before realizing it's just my cell. Rose holds the phone to her ear and traps it in her neck and trembling hand to keep it there. They talk while I stare out the window. I check the grandfather clock in the living room. It's been in the family since I was a baby. Several minutes have slipped by. Rose says her goodbyes, and I fiddle to press end. She's biting her lower lip, so I tell her not to cry. I say, come on, what's the matter, beautiful? It's not right. We shouldn't be doing this to her. What if she gets caught? She'll get thrown out of school. No one's thrown out of anywhere. I've already played out the scenario a dozen times after Billy first told me about the pills. She went on and on about studies and chemical what-you-dos, but all I heard was, time stops, Grandpa. She corrected herself and said, it actually just slows down perception. But I just kept thinking, time stops. I stroke Rose's hand. Try not to be sad. Why don't I make you some tea? Rose flashes that smile I'll never forget. I'm not sad, just worried. Well, stop. I look down at the phone. Let me make one more call to... No, put it down, William. I just want to make certain that UPS has our correct address. You're like a dog with a bone. This is almost as bad as that decoder ring of yours, Captain Midnight. I hadn't thought of that cheap plastic ring in over 20 years. I waited 6 weeks for that. Standing out by the mailbox every single one of those days. I did, didn't I? I'd sent away for it, one of those ads in the back of Boy's Life. You and your mother brought me in when it started snowing. We didn't want to see a dead kid out on the lawn. And your mother made that pecan pie. You were the only one who would eat it. Rose and I spent the entire summer fishing by the creek, walking through Drover's Canyon. We had our first kiss behind St. Gabriel's Church. I nearly passed out because my nose was all stuffed up from a cold, and I didn't want that kiss to ever end. After a sip of water, Rose looks at the wall, all those memories playing in her head. She says, isn't this nice? I don't know if she's talking to me right now in this room, or me as a young man. The grandfather clock chimes. I look out the frosted window. Nothing. I'm calling them. This is ridiculous. Billy paid good money for it to arrive, and it hasn't. Calm down, William. I'm not going to let them rip her off like that. Please? She touches me, her hand shaking so much it tickles. I'm sorry, I tell her, but it gets me so mad. Darling, they're just pills. I can't have this conversation. I know where she's leading to, so I stand. She asks where I'm going. I force a smile. I've got a surprise for you. Package or not, I can't let this ruin all my hard work. What surprise? Just some things. There's one for each of the next 3 nights. What are you up to, William? I no longer have to force the smile. I've been waiting months to show her. Suddenly I hear her ringing. I look at the phone in my hand. It's not that, so I peek around the corner at the landline on the wall. The little red light isn't flashing either. Did you hear something, William? No, I guess not. I wonder if my hearing aid is on her fritz again, just before a series of bangs come before the living room. I hurry to the window. A brown-clad man holding a small box is walking back toward the UPS truck idling at the curb. What's wrong? Rose asked as I try to hurry out of the kitchen. I concentrate on the floor in front of me, wishing my slippered feet would move faster. My labored breaths make my chest feel like it's burning. I reach the door and go to pull it open, but the deadbolt and the security chain are fastened. My fingers tear at the chain, slip it free. I twist the lock and open the door as a blast of cold air knocks the delivery slip from the screen door. The yellow scrap of paper blows off the porch and towards the truck, where the delivery man is already behind the wheel. I'm here! Stop! I wave my hand and nearly slide off the icy porch. The snow seeps through my slippers. The truck pulls away from the curb as I hobble down the slick stairs, gripping the handrail. Another gust of wind picks up the small slip and carries it into Peterson's bushes across the street. I prepare to step off the curb when the UPS truck circles back. I'd been in such a panic, I hadn't realized he'd have to make a U-turn at the end of the cul-de-sac. The delivery man pulls right up next to me. I've waved once more because I can hardly breathe. He asks, Mr. Hanrahan? I gulp and nod. The delivery man hops down from the truck with a small package in his hand. It's freezing out here. Let's get you inside. The man offers his outstretched arm, and as much as it makes me feel like a damn fool, I take it. It's like we're going to the prom. I mumble a thank you and try to keep pace as he helps me up the walkway, then the stairs. By the time we make it onto the porch and into the house, my slippers are completely soaked. I kick them off and reach for the package, but the young man is holding out the electronic pad. Sign here first, please. My arthritic, frozen fingers can't even pick up the pen. I want to scream, cry, and punch the guy in his face. I guess my frustration shows because he tells me it's okay, hands me the box, and scribbles a name on the pad. This might actually come in handy, should the authorities ever track this down. No, officer. I never signed for drugs. Sorry about you having to chase me down, the delivery man says. You get warm and have a great day. With the box in my hands, I suddenly no longer cold or anxious. You've made an old man's day. Thank you. I close the door, head over to the hutch, grab my wooden box of secrets, and carry everything to the kitchen. Rose is still sitting in her chair, shaking. At first I think it's another stroke, but then realize she's freezing. I left the door wide open, chasing down the delivery man. The entire house has turned into an icebox. I set both boxes on the table and hurry over to the hallway closet. My feet are still wet. I find her favorite red quilt on the top shelf, pull it down, walk back, and wrap it around her shoulders. I'm sorry, honey. I place a gentle kiss on her forehead. Is that better? She eyes the box I'm tapping. Open it for me? Her smile is back, warmer than a radiator. In a minute, let's just make sure this is okay. I scrape my thumbnail on the UPS package. The tape is stronger than it looks. After a few attempts, I set the box down, angry. I can't do the simplest things. Rose, always prepared, passes a butter knife across the table. It takes half a dozen tries, but I carve through and find a bottle of extra-strength Advil. Advil? Rose says. All this for Advil? I struggle with the cap and dig out the cotton ball, dump the blue pills into my hand. Billy couldn't very well put a label with the real name on it, could she? I don't know. We never took drugs before. Not once. You smoked a joint at Barbara Wilcox's Christmas party. That was 40 years ago. These are fine, Rose. I slide the pills back into the bottle. They're no different than your heart medicine. Then why are they illegal? Darling, trust me on this. We don't have much time left together. These pills will help us enjoy every precious second. Billy said they'll intensify our perceptions and feelings. That sounds terrifying. It does not. 1 minute is going to feel like an hour. 1 hour will feel like a day. Something splashes against the back of my hand. I realize it's a tear. And that's exactly what I need right now. Rose bites the inside of her cheek, like she always does when she's about to give me an earful. Only this time she says, You really sure about this? Positive. Oh, Lord, I hope you're right. I thank her and open the wooden box, take out the plastic case with a DVD inside it. This is a slideshow. Pictures of our friends, families, all of our memories, vacations, weddings, anniversaries, Billy's birth, everything you can imagine. All this on a disc? Oh, honey, that's so thoughtful. We'll watch this one tomorrow. I then pull another DVD from the box. Rose asks what's on it. I say, This one is all videos. It's for the third night. Sandra, Jimmy, Elaine, and Frankie helped me edit it. I used to hate whenever they would get out those recorders, but now I'm glad they did. Her faded blue eyes sparkle. Third night? Why not tonight? No, tonight we have this. I pull out the final plastic case. This is a recording of all our favorite songs. I motion towards the door to our enclosed back porch. We'll have a nice evening out there listening to it as the sun sets. I don't want to wait. Well, I'm afraid that's just too bad. I've got some setting up to do, and it's about time for your nap. Oh, you sure know how to spoil a treat. She pretends to be upset, her grin giving her away like always. I swear, the woman would be the world's worst spy. I close the box, get her from the table, and offer my hand. Let's get you rested. You're all mine tonight. I help her to her feet. You devil, you've never changed. And you never need to. Rose pats my hand, and we make it a few steps before she grimaces, quickly covering it with a smile. I start to ask if she's all right, if she wants to stop, but she hushes me as we head into the bedroom. The grandfather clock strikes 5 o'clock just as I finish setting up the back porch. The CD player is on the coffee table next to the pitcher of sweet tea along with 2 glasses. There are 2 napkins, each with 2 blue pills. I turn the thermostat up to a toasty 78, a nice contrast to the winter wonderland on the other side of the plate glass window. The entire back acre is covered with virgin snow, the sun almost ready to drop behind it. I take one last look, making sure I haven't missed anything, then head to the bedroom. When I open the door, I see Rose is still in bed. Any other night, and I'd let her sleep. Rose, dear, I whisper softly, then again, a little louder. Her good hand is resting over her heart. She's not sleeping. I ask if she's okay. Just so tired. I know, sweetheart, but do you think you could get up? She gives a weak nod, and I help her to her feet. Take your time, I tell her, but I'm practically pulling her out the door. She says, someone's got ants in his pants. I'm wearing a robe. Oh, you think you're so cute? I don't respond. Just help her cross through the kitchen. Now, let's have ourselves a nice time. 2 minutes later, Rose is in her chair and I'm pouring her a glass of tea. No wonder we don't come out here much, she says. The trip from the bedroom clearly exhausted her. I feel like we walked to Vermont. I hand her the glass. It's nice though, isn't it? Her blue eyes seem to gain color as she looks out the window. It is, dear. It really is. Thank you. I pluck 2 pills off her napkin and hold them in my open palm. Are you ready? Didn't she say only 1 each? If 1 is good, 2 is better. Rose looks at the pills. I worry she's going to back out, but she opens her mouth and sticks out her tongue. Gently I place them. 2 swallows of tea and they're gone. Here's to us, I say. I pop mine in and wash them down with a swig. Then I push the play button, and From You I'll Never Part starts. Rose sighs. Our wedding song. I start to sit when I realize I've forgotten the final touch. I head up the 3 stairs into the kitchen. A sharp twinge of pain shoots down my leg. My sciatic is acting up. Doc would tell me to rest, that I've overdone it, but I can't think about the pain. Where are you going? Rose asks. The sun is setting and our song's on. Won't be a minute. I hurry around the table and reach my hand into the little sliver of space between the cabinets and the top of the icebox. A single white rose. I picked it up from the grocery store yesterday. Had to sneak it in while Rose was napping. It's a little dusty. I blow on it and gently wipe it with my finger. The soft music floats in from the porch, and I can't wait to get back to my wife. I shuffle towards the back porch with the rose in one hand and the other running along the wall to steady myself. It's so smooth and cool to the touch. I look over and see the rose, a streaming trail of petals carving through the air. The wedding song stops, snaps me out of this trance. I realize I've been sliding back and forth across the floor in rhythm to the music. The next song begins. Gone, but not forgotten. I stare out the window onto the porch, mesmerized by the sunset. The purple strip of sky between the snow and the clouds reminds me of the nights that Rose and I snuggled on the couch, holding each other as darkness descended. I reach the porch and hold on to the handrail for support, and there's my wife. This woman, so full of love, so full of kindness, that's cared for me since we were children. Her soft cheeks, the deep smile lines showing anyone and everyone how she has spent her life, always laughing, always thankful for what's in front of her. Rose turns her head, those blue eyes piercing through me as I make my way down the stairs. That look melts my heart. Tears are sliding down my cheeks, in and out of my wrinkles. I have to explain to her before she goes that she's made my life worth living. Each silver hair on her head sways back and forth. They're soft and fine like a baby's. I want to caress them and assure her that everything is going to be okay. I'm not going to let her go. I'm going to keep her here with me forever. The world starts to tilt. I'm falling. My foot catches on the step, my weight tumbling forward. I tried to bring my other leg underneath me to catch myself, but it's too late. Rose screams, this melodious roar as my right wrist snaps against the floor, the crackling echoing in my ears. I can't look away from her as the rest of my body seems to hover in midair. Rose pushes off the chair, her long sleeves barely rippling. My hip crunches into 1,000 shards of terrific pain. Waves of agony wash through me when my head cracks off the carpeted concrete. My fragile skin splits, a warmth slowly spreading along my face as Rose falls back into the chair. My fingers crawl along the fibers, trying to push myself off the ground, but my hip feels like slivers of glass digging into my flesh. I can only raise my head an inch, warm blood dripping down my lips. Rose clutches her chest. Her scream softens with the song as the sun slowly dips beneath the horizon. The last streams of light slide down her body, leaving her once bright blue eyes forever sparkling in the darkness.